What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gig App Rodeo Roundtable. We have a panel here tonight. Kim is missing, so Kim's spot is filled by Holly. We have Savvy Shopper Delivers. It's been a while since we've seen Holly.
Been a while. Still here.
Yeah, and I was, by the way, before I introduce everybody else, who you already know, everybody, but I was just watching because I have the chat up here on my screen, and there was a DoorDash ad that was playing before this. I'm like, really? Like, how far can I go before you guys just stop? Like, do you really want to advertise on this? I think it just proves AI doesn't work maybe as well as we think it does, because their AI should go, I don't think this is a good place to advertise, but hey, man, you guys want to run your ads, go ahead. But we do have Tom Kelly in Houston. We have Gig Work Mama in Canada, and Holly's in Florida. And Kim will be back with us obviously next week, because next week is the 3-year anniversary of the roundtable, and it's pretty big. It's pretty cool. Hopefully, Vinny Coos is going to join us from the Rideshare Garage here tonight too. So I'm going to put off a couple topics because they're strange, but I want everybody to weigh in on them too, because there's some. I actually have some, and we'll be getting to it, but I actually have some information firsthand now on what I actually, as a customer, used Uber to go to the airport, and the update that I'm going to give is not going to be what you guys expected. Actually, was either they fixed a lot of things or they weren't as broke as we thought. So anyway, we'll get to that. But we will start off with, because we were gone last week, so I mean, obviously we need to talk about this. I saw this everywhere while I was gone. Chris Taylor, I see in the chat, and everybody else, thank you for joining. Who else is in here? Traveler, Bubba Sue, and Chris. Chris, thanks for those memberships too. But Uber sues DoorDash over unfair business practice. Has anybody seen this? Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, and Kim did a good story on it too on her channel.
Yeah.
So if you want to kind of get it from the beginning to the end, she's got a good one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been reading all these articles, and I was on the plane, so I was playing catch up, and it's pretty straightforward. But DoorDash is literally trying to force. We always say how like DoorDash doesn't treat the drivers right. We know that. They impose fees and other things on the customers. They don't treat their restaurant partners good, and we're going to be getting to that. It seems like you'd have to treat one or two of those entities good, especially the customers and your partners. But they don't treat anybody good. And now DoorDash, if you try and use Uber, and I'll get into a little bit of how this is working, but Uber's suing them because of anti-competitive practices, because DoorDash is taking it out on so like all the platforms are third-party providers. First-party providers would be like if you called the restaurant and needed it delivered, and they're using the services of DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever, Grubhub or wherever you might be. That's first. But let's just go through it. So the complaint was filed in California. Of course, that's where they start most of these. And it was filed on February 14th, which of course was Valentine's Day. That's pretty funny too. So Uber says DoorDash has been forcing restaurants to accept it as an exclusive delivery partner or face consequences. That's a really good way to treat your partners. Or face consequences, such as multi-million-dollar penalties or removal, demotion from the app. Now that's to the restaurants. Uber Eats and DoorDash both offer third-party and first-party food deliveries. Third-party deliveries occur when the customer places an order with a food delivery app, and first-party deliveries occur when the customer orders directly from a restaurant's website or app and have the food delivered by a partner chosen by the restaurant. Uber's case concerns first-party deliveries. So the lawsuit, DoorDash controls 50% of all third-party deliveries in this country. Grubhub is under 10, and that puts Uber at about 41, 42. They used to be at about 30, and DoorDash was at about 63 or something. So DoorDash we've been talking about, they're losing that foothold on having it. But when it comes to the first party deliveries, they have 90% of the United States space. So it is using the position to lock exclusive first party agreements with restaurants to ensure it gets first access to orders. And other delivery solution providers like Uber Direct receive orders only if Drive on Demand, DoorDash, does not accept them. This is what they're making their partners do. Like, hey, listen, we noticed that you're being competitive and strategic and trying to run your business correctly. Well, if you continue to do that, we're going to demote you. We're not going to, who knows what that I don't even know what that means. Like, you're going to demote them. What you're not going to take all the orders that DoorDash is giving you. I mean, I know many restaurants that at this point rely on it. So I just don't get how they're going to be penalized because they might want to use Uber Eats.
Well, so why would DoorDash not take the order and it go to Uber Eats?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if a driver doesn't pick it up and no tip or whatever,
Like,
or
it
they
just
don't have a
sits there
driver in
and
the area. I don't know what that reason might be, but my thing is more about that than it's more about like, dude, where do you get off, DoorDash? Like, seriously, I'm not like getting an Uber's corner here either, but like, seriously, like, you can't. So I do know restaurants. I've been seeing this lately more and more and more too. I do know restaurants that turn Uber Eats off. I don't know if it's a simple toggle switch or what, but I know one restaurant that I've been doing more DoorDash lately. I know one restaurant I've been going to that literally, they told me they haven't turned Uber Eats on in over a month.
Wow.
So, because I was always wondering, why are no Uber Eats coming from this one place? It's one of my fishing holes, and I like to go there, and never an Uber Eats. And this isn't a threat from Uber Eats. This is just they find the DoorDash way easier, cleaner, because I was talking to them. And they said that the Uber Eats ones just come in and are very sloppy and messy, and they come in overflows and sometimes duplicates. And so, but that's up to the company, the business. I don't see where, and DoorDash is fighting this. They're saying, no, this isn't the thing. But so, they have to have the first access at it. Additionally, Uber had said about this that when DoorDash finds out a restaurant is picking up Uber Direct for first party delivery, it and this is a quote, threatens to penalize the restaurant on the DoorDash app.
Wow.
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I kind of get what they're doing, but I really feel like they're like saying, without us, you're dead in the water. You better watch it.
Right. It's like they're bullying them.
Exactly.
Like,
and I'm not sure they have that much power. I'm really not. I mean, yeah, a lot of people use DoorDash, but the number's falling. DoorDash controls 50% of third party, and that's third party. That's the one they used to have the really big foothold on. Now it's 50%. They only have half of it now. So, I mean, they're losing the foothold. So, I mean, how much weight can they throw around, without somebody going, you know what, we'll just use Uber Eats. And maybe they don't do the same volume at first. But if I was Uber Eats team, I would be coming up with ways to have sweet incentives that are not non-competes like this, that seem very illegal. That's why they're suing. But instead to like offer incentives to business partners for the first time ever. Like, do something cool, right. Go really aggressive here and take advantage of this and be like, you know what? Because, yeah, I mean, it says this abusive tactic has forced many restaurants to avoid partnering with Uber, costing the company millions of dollars in revenue and unlawfully restricting its growth. The restaurants have no meaningful option to resist DoorDash, either, Uber says.
But
So
wasn't it also something with like the restaurant fees or something or the other, where they were putting the restaurant fee, like DoorDash was putting the restaurant fees really high, but especially for restaurants that really need to rely on DoorDash, so then they're not even using Uber Eats because they're like, we need DoorDash and the fees are so high, we definitely can't have, let's say, the two apps running at the same time, because then that's even more fees that we have to pay. Wasn't it something like that as well with the lawsuit that they were doing?
but wouldn't
Wasn't Uber claiming that?
well that's coming up in the RICO now, which wasn't even in the original RICO. This gets so convoluted. I feel like I need to make a timeline behind me on the wall. But so I know what you're saying, but why? One thing I have to question about that is why would that? I mean, who cares if you do half your business with Uber Eats and half with DoorDash?
Right.
You're still going to pay fees on both. Either way, you're paying fees. I mean, these restaurants are going to get, the only way the restaurants get huge breaks is if you're like McDonald's. And even then, you don't have to be exclusive, but that's where you get those breaks. That's why sometimes they have us. Some people used to tell me, I think that people just have the wrong McDonald's chosen in the app. And I was thinking that can't be it, because there's no way that this advanced app with AI and all this other stuff could possibly mess up. Oh, there's a McDonald's a half mile from him, but we accidentally put it to the one 20 miles away. They can't.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
Right. They can't do that, right? But everything else works. So, but I now know that at least with McDonald's, at least for the DoorDash part, they actually have like pars. And if each location in a city meets the pars, then they get some kind of discount or whatever their partnership entails. So if like the restaurant closest to me, the McDonald's closest to me has already met the par for the month or quarter or however they do it, they might relocate it to a different McDonald's that's lacking in the par. And that's why I might get very cold food from 17 miles away when there's a McDonald's a half mile away.
I always wondered why that happened. So that I'm glad to hear an explanation for that, because I get that sometimes where I'm like, why did they just send me across town for an order when you have one right down the road? So
I thought the tablet was off or something.
Well,
Yeah,
I know
me
some
too.
restaurants do turn it off, right?
but I mean, is everybody just completely unwise? I think there was a time when maybe it was, but I honestly don't think that everybody's like, like there are people now who are watching their orders, seeing where their driver is. So you're not communicating with them, but if you're watching him go 16 miles away, you're going to think he's like, you probably might not know the term if you're a customer, but you're going to think he's dirty apping or whatever.
Right.
You're going to think something weird's going on. Why is he way over there? The McDonald's is right there. I don't know. But I just think I think it's crazy. I think that what is DoorDash's DoorDash's only comment to this, because it will go to court. They're not even because Uber is seeking an undisclosed amount in damages, an injunction to block DoorDash's alleged unlawful practices. And then DoorDash has denied any wrongdoing, and they quoted, Uber's case has no merit. Their claims are unfounded and based on their inability to offer merchants, consumers, or couriers a quality alternative. You guys know how I feel about DoorDash. I mean, I don't think any of them are doing this quality job, but I mean, like, their Uber's inability to do it. I don't know that Uber does anything differently than DoorDash. But that's just me.
I haven't delivered for Uber forever. I'll be honest, I do turn on DoorDash more than I turned on Uber, but I haven't turned on anything lately. But
so giving Vinny the chance here, I'm going to go to this Vegas one, and then I'm going to bring up these other things I want to share with you guys and see. I want everybody's thoughts on these other ones, chat, whoever, because, yeah. But this Las Vegas restaurant owner, owners are fed up with imposter kitchens. Welcome appetizing new bill. So I was saying this to Tom before we got started. So this is looking for the bill's number, and I'm going to be doing something on it, but it's Assembly Bill 116 in the state of Nevada, and it's sponsored by Nevada State Assembly member Selena Torres Fawcett. I hope I got that right. But basically, this ties into the RICO case. So restaurant owners across the valley won't have such a bad taste in their mouth if this new bill passes. It is meant to crack down on virtual restaurants or ghost kitchens impersonating legitimate restaurants on apps like Uber Eats. And then gets into the story that we talked about last year, which is what started the RICO case, and about these fake restaurants. What they do is, like, here's an example of one. There's one in Henderson called Gitano's, maybe Restaurante. They don't want to be on Uber Eats. They don't want to be on these food delivery places. They do enough business. They have enough good business where they don't need to. Great for them. They don't want to be on it. And somebody took advantage of that and created an Uber Eats, same spelling, everything, and then put it as a ghost kitchen at a different location. Oddly, that location is owned by the person who's doing it, and they own a little restaurant that doesn't do so well. So instead, what they did was they just took this other name and said, we make their food here. They took their menu, everything. I mean, like, this is how bad it's getting, because you didn't need you can set up a business on Uber without getting background. I mean, like, you weren't having to put in an EIN number. I just don't get it. I mean, I get it when you're building and you're trying to make this mountain of business and everybody, but what? So now all these bad reviews are coming in, of course, because this is not the place that people know it to be. They're not getting the food. And it's been going on for a while. They're having trouble shutting this down, and I just don't get it. So this whole bill is about, let me see what it says about her trying to pass this, but she's saying that, listen, like, we really need to make sure that businesses are who they say they are, and we need to make sure that we don't let people or like illegally sell other restaurants menu items and pretend and use fraud to be them. And I'm thinking, why does this need a bill? Like, isn't this already a crime in, like, many ways? Tom, I would think. I mean, Tom, isn't this already a crime? Like, you're fucking. If Tom had a restaurant, and I just started selling Tom's food out of my van, Tom's gonna get pissed, and he's got a legitimate business. I feel like I'm breaking laws already.
I'm not sure that. I mean, this is where technology outpaces the law sometimes, Steve. I'm not sure it necessarily is against the law. You can make a case and sue them for trademark infringement or, something like that. But there's probably not a law that says you can't fake my restaurant on an app, because it's so new that nobody knows to make this law yet. We've seen this a lot of times when it comes to gig work, where it's not until somebody, pretty smart, like your friends there in Colorado and some other places, realize that there doesn't need to be a law for certain things.
Wouldn't this be like a trademark thing, though?
That's what I'm saying. Like, articles of incorporation. Right. Like, when you form a business, here's your DBA, here's your legit name. Like, and I hear what Tom's saying though too. Like, but sure, it is yours, but you need to go now take it to court. You need to get lawyers. You need to.
Right.
Well, and wouldn't the drivers like ring some kind of an alarm if they get an order that says Chili's and they go to Joe Schmo's house to pick up an order, to take to somebody, or you know what I mean?
Well, but most of these are other restaurants, and like we know, like IHOP runs. Is it IHOP? IHOP runs 4 kitchens and out of the one, and that are 4 different restaurants.
And Denny's does that as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, there's nothing, these ghost kitchens, there's nothing wrong with doing that if you're doing it and not stealing stuff.
Yeah, but you can't say you're Steak and Shake, but you're Chili's.
Right.
It's like Steak and Shake's name. Yeah.
Right. Or even, like in this case, like in Nevada, you can't say that you're this place that obviously this place doesn't want to be on these apps because it either does enough business where it's just happy with the way it works, or they've tried them and they hate them or whatever. So more power to them. But they've decided, no, we don't want anything to do with your apps. And yet now here's somebody, and they're getting, there was a E. coli, somebody that got sick E. coli, and it was from this place's ghost kitchen that isn't the real place. So the people wanted to sue the real place, but it's not the real place. And Uber's saying, well, that's, I don't know, they're set up on our platform. To me, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be interesting, but I feel like this is where the RICO case ties into, and I feel like people are going to get, like, why are you, like, I don't know. People are going to, I would stop doing this if I was like, if I was in that anywhere, and yet more people are doing it now. It's like, I mean, we always had the joke, and we've talked about it recently, even about, Kim and I remember a story from years ago back in, like, Holly was saying, out of somebody's house, like there was that dude selling like Tortino's pizzas.
Yeah.
Like the 99-cent ones. He was selling them as pizzas, as late night bar food.
Yeah, that was terrible.
So I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, it's just a mess. And
so, I like to take the contrary. So on the contrary of that, though, let's say Steve is a really excellent cook, and he makes fried chicken that tastes almost exactly like KFC, and it's really, really good. So why can't he just sell it from his house and call it KGC?
Well, for one, he doesn't have a commercial license to run a kitchen that has to keep up with the standards of cleanliness and all of those things that they have to do.
So
but even if he did, he would be able to.
But so he goes and he takes the class, and he gets, that's not a hard thing to pass. I can pass that test. I have passed that test.
Right.
So
but I think the biggest problem is exactly what you just said. If I called it KGC, well, this is people. This would be me calling it KFC and having their menu.
Right.
That's not right.
Okay, so what if you just go down the street, Steve, and you buy it at regular KFC prices, and you come home and you sell it for $2 per item more? And people go online and buy it because people are stupid. Don't tell me people wouldn't do that. We know people do that.
People would do that. I think that would be something where you would have to see what their copyright infringement, whatever thingy, trademark is, like what the registration says. Because I know that there's a company that in their trademark thingy, it says that you cannot obviously not use their name, but you also can't use their products for, like, they're not for resale other than if you were given permission. So if that's written, he wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, but also, I mean, am I allowed to resell food?
I don't know.
I would guess no. I've been in the restaurant industry for years, and like you have to. I mean, like, I know there's ways to get around some of the things we were talking about, but you have to have regular health inspections. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to be paying your dues and like renewing all of your licensing and everything. Like, I don't think I can just go buy KFC and then and make an app called Steve's Resale Food. Like, just just like big mystery boxes or because too much stuff could happen. I mean, I don't have do I have a location that I'm bringing it to and then repackaging it? Is it clean? Is it, I don't know. I see lots so the only thing they could compare it to and they had to use California's was because I hate giving him anything at all. And it's not even a good one, but Gavin Newsom did put something into effect about California restaurants who don't want third-party delivery companies to deliver their food without their consent have certain protections. I would imagine they have tons of protections.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, like why? I don't know. It seems really clear to me, and I just don't get why this is even an issue. like, knock it off, dude. You know, I mean, yeah.
So Denny's and the Meltdown are the same restaurant. And I'm looking on DoorDash right now, and I'm noticing that Denny's is a 4.3 and the Meltdown is a 4.6. It's the same restaurant.
I know.
Well,
I've
but
noticed that as
the
well.
Meltdown is just their grilled cheeses and stuff, though, right, or something?
Oh, it's got all, you know.
Then they've got the Burger Den or something also. Denny's does.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that. It might. I can check on that. But the one that I thought was interesting here at the Meltdown is is this really real? Because you deserve it. It's cheesecake and fresh strawberries smashed between two grilled. Something getting loud. Two grilled buttery pound cake slices.
That's for real.
Yuck.
I mean, it's like
strawberry
Chuck E.
shortcake.
Cheese selling Pasquinis or whatever they do. They call it Pasquini's Pizza. We all know it's Chuck E. Cheese, and if you have a kid, you know Chuck E. Cheese is not good pizza.
Yeah, which is pretty much like cardboard with ketchup on it, right?
Yeah.
They sell frozen Chuck E. Cheese pizzas at Winn-Dixie. I saw
Oh
those.
my gosh.
So we got Vinny Coos now with us too. Vinny, what's up?
Hey, sorry I'm late to the party. I had a reservation ride, and of course, because Steve asked me to join you fine folks tonight, the plane arrived an hour late. So I apologize.
Yeah.
No, you're good, man. I held off on the rideshare stuff because now I want to hear from all of you guys on this because, and especially there's two different things. But Vinny, so you guys know everything I've been saying about the Colorado transparency law. You know, I see Derek in the chat now too. So we know that like at first you couldn't tip through the app during the ride. Like you hail because of the transparency, Uber removed that. So you couldn't tip during the ride. After the ride, you would see the full transparency breakdown, but they were using a spinning wheel of 15 to 20 seconds delay so that you couldn't see it and that hopefully you just rate the driver and just move on before you tipped because they were trying to hurt the drivers and take away the tip and all this. But here's my experience because I just had to use one going to the airport. So I tested it in all ways. I ordered the car, and the car was, so the total that I got to me, this is no tip or nothing yet, $32. The driver was going to be paid $21.01. The driver showed up and I asked him, $21.01? Yep. 32? Yep. Okay. They're all matching. And then during the ride, all I did was scroll down a little and it said, tip your driver. I mean, it's like clear as day. They want you to. It's not removed. And if it is, it's been put back. But they want you to. And then when the trip ended, it said, do you want to add an additional tip? They went an extra step. And then now I've got the receipt. And when I tipped him half of the tip I would tip him through the app while we were driving and half after the fact. The transparency came through and showed the half. And then the second I added the other half again. I mean, I'm not applauding Uber. I'm just saying that we were talking about how they weren't doing any of this. And actually they're doing all of it. But here's the thing that I was telling Vinny when I asked him if he'd please come on tonight, because I wanted to talk about this, was that, look, when I ordered this car, I can tell you because I know this was from my house to the airport. the total that I told you guys was $32. I have never, ever, ever, and I've lived here for many years, I have never, ever, ever been able to catch an Uber for under $50. Ever.
Wow.
Since the transparency bill, drivers are not being paid more, but I'm paying a lot less. And I've even looked on other days to see what the quotes are, and they're all around there. So they basically, like, Uber removed $15-20 out of what would have been the normal total. And now they're only getting, or now they're getting a third of the money, and 2/3 are going to the driver. So they didn't keep the amount the same or even just drop it a little to the customer. They dropped it a lot. Don't pay the drivers anymore, and they're still taking a third. So what was happening before then?
Well, there was an article I read this morning that Uber and Lyft rates. I know we're talking about Uber here, but Uber rates jumped 7.2%. Right, that what the rider was paying. Do you think, I wouldn't know, how many rides have you taken? Is that the only ride that you took? And do you think the way that they were reselling the self-insurance is being affected by this new transparency law? In other words, when they charge their insurance fee, commercial insurance fee, I mean, it's suspected that they're doubling up on the insurance fee to the driver. You know what I mean? The commercial insurance, because it's so damn high on a lot of trips. Do you think the transparency law is affecting that, and they got to play it straight? Or do you think maybe they're just charging a lower rate right now because they're getting bad press?
I mean, I'm looking at the breakdown. I have the Denver International Airport pickup drop-off fee. That's $329. The Colorado prearranged ride regulatory fee, that goes to help fund the board of the people of deactivations that has to deal with that, and that's 32 cents. And then I have the booking and insurance at $738. So they're putting it all in there of where their money's going out of the 32. But for me, it's less. I don't know, man. I'm confused because I would think what you're telling me, Vinny, like the amounts have gone up. I know that other places, but I have, since I did it, been putting in every day at different times that I know what it would be. Like, okay, well, what is it to the airport right now? And I even choose days that I know, and it's just not. It's so much cheaper. But like Derek's in here, Tony is doing his other thing tonight. Some of the drivers I know here in Denver I know they're not making any more. I don't know that they're making any less, but I know that they're not making any more.
How many miles is that? You were saying it was around $50 usually. How many miles to the airport?
It's I don't know, 20 maybe. Yeah, 15.
I was just curious how many miles for $50 that was covering.
Yeah, it's going to be more because it's a long way on just Pena alone. Yeah, Derek put 20 to 25. And Derek doesn't know exactly where I live, but he has an idea.
Derek's stalking you.
But yeah, 20 to 25. Okay, so I mean, but this is the pay this is what they've been paying for years. I mean, I know before that it was better or whatever, but this is what they've been paying for years, but I'm getting a discount now. So like Vinny was saying, like, is it just that they're playing it straight? Are they did they not want to leave it at 50 and show that they're taking, because at that point it's not even a third. It would be like 70-80% on every ride if they had left it at the 50.
Well, they're definitely, you know what, Steve, I think you would need a bigger sample size of what the riders are paying in a similar ride. I just found it
really eye-opening to see this. Like,
I mean, what so you don't know if it's a one-off or I don't know. I mean, could they be giving people discounts? I mean, they would Wouldn't they tell you if they're going to give you a discount, though?
I mean, no, there's no, and it would be, it would be shown here. Like these
exactly.
These receipts are what comes up on a single screen. Like I'm just making sure that nothing's on there. I don't have it ready to put up, but I mean, like it's pretty clean. This is what has to fit onto the screen when the ride is over now for the customer. Says every amount, shows everything, what the driver was paid, everything. That's another thing too that I know that other people had told me too, was that the spinning wheel will happen for 15 to 20 seconds, and it says rate your driver. So if you want to see the transparency of the ride, you have to wait for the wheel to stop spinning. This came up immediately upon the ride ending. So I don't know. I mean, it looks like they're being transparent, but it also looks like they're like, "Yo, cut back on how much we're taking because there's eyes on us right now, and we're taking a lot of money."
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess if nothing else, I guess it helps. I'm surprised they didn't lower it like from 50 to 40, give the drivers a little more. Well, the reason I say that though, Holly, because I hear you about the laughing, but the reason I say that is because all of this transparency law, if they did that and showed just a little bit of good faith, like, look, the driver's getting $4 more, and we dropped the price, they'd still make another $4 too. They could afford to do a few more dollars to the drivers, and it probably would be a smart idea. I don't think it's a really smart idea to keep their pay at the same thing and be playing this game. I mean,
if
passed.
Yeah, but if they have to be transparent, right? You don't want to. If I were the business, I wouldn't touch the driver pay either. I wouldn't, go out of my way to be extra nice. Because in a year from now, 18 months from now, when I go to, chop the driver again, I'm not going to be able to, because they're going to say, well, why all of a sudden now the drop in driver pay? They're going to come for it at some point. So I wouldn't change I mean, as a driver, I'd love to see us get paid more.
Right.
As a business, no, just if they're hiding the insurance, if it's an insurance thing, I don't know. I'm just pure guesstimation there, but if it is an insurance thing, because that's the only difference. When we look across the country, we look at all the rates when when it's now 60% them, 40% us, it's all hidden in the insurance. That's where we're getting screwed. I know there's some examples out there about the, the service fee being, double what the driver's getting paid or whatnot. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but you know what I mean. But when I look at it, all the breakdowns, it's always the insurance that gets me. It's like, how the hell is a 3-mile ride $48 for insurance?
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is that, this was a couple weeks ago, but I read an article that had said like, it was Uber talking about insurance, like how much it's gone up, and that we have no idea how much it costs them to. And I was just getting mad as can be, because I'm thinking, man, you're leaving out that we all have to pay insurance too. I have to pay insurance. It's not cheap. Just because it went up for you doesn't mean it didn't go up for me personally.
Well, that's a whole nother issue, because when you start, this morning I was talking about something. When we look at, how much the driver's pay has been reduced versus inflation, how much our cost is going up, everybody's talked about it. That is never accounted for. The real inflation is never accounted for. My question with the insurance would be, and I know it's a little off topic, so rein it back in, because I know you don't want to do that. But who sets their rates for their insurance? Because they're not using a third-party insurance company, right? They're kind of self-insuring now. So who are they determining those rates from? Like Sergio would say, they control both sides of the marketplace, right? But now they're controlling both sides of the insurance company too. It's wild to me, man. It's just absolutely wild.
Well, for a while they were with a couple companies though that were insuring them.
They were.
Right.
They were, but from what I understand, it's not so much anymore.
So who's insuring them?
I think they're self-insuring.
You mean they're just like paying out of pocket for everything that they need?
No, well, if the insurance, if you self-insure, say like you own a home, right? Because for a lot of homeowners, especially down here in Florida and out there in California, a lot of people that own their homes are self-insuring. They're putting their own money away, and then they pay themselves out. It's almost like you pay yourself for the insurance, and it just rolls. So,
Yeah,
Steve, if I send Steve out to do a job, and whatever the national standard is tells me, well, it would be approximately $20 for this job to cover Steve's commercial insurance for those amount of miles in time. Mm-hmm. And then I say, okay, now I'm going to charge the insurance. Well, I'm going to charge $25. $20 for the insurance and then $5 for a service fee for me charging for the insurance. You understand the gamification of that shit? Yeah. I don't know if that's what's happening. I don't know, but that's kind of what it seems like to me. Because I don't know how you come up with these insurance rates. And if you're paying less as a rider, all of a sudden because of the law, well, what else could it be that they were hiding? Where else were they hiding the money? What would it be? It's insurance fee, service fee, local taxes, and then the driver. What else is there?
I can't imagine, though, that it's legal for a company like that to not carry some type of insurance through another company.
Yeah, almost every state requires that they carry through another company.
Yeah, that's
right. But maybe what Vinny's saying is like, even if they are, like, they're still tacking on a service fee to it. Like, I mean, again, it's just like you already have a service fee and a booking fee. Like, you don't need to tack it onto the insurance too.
It just baffles my mind that, and I'm not saying they are self-insuring. I'm saying it's what it seems like. Because the insurance rates are so damn different. When I had commercial insurance, right, a few years ago, I used to have my own company, for those that don't know. And, it was $11,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't, $11,000, that's a lot of goddamn money, man.
Yeah,
and so, but when you break it down, all right, so it's like $800 a month. Okay, no big deal there. But an individual ride, in a week's worth of rides, I can rack up. Well, let's see if I do that. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt if I'm racking up 3, 4, 5. Oh, you know what? The app tells me when I'm racking up in insurance fees every week. So continue. I'm going to go look it up real quick. That's right. I forgot we have that little feature.
Maybe it's I don't even know. Maybe it's like the amount of cars you have on the road, the amount of the transportation you're doing in a city. You're paying based on that. Like, is Uber doing 80% and cabs and buses and all these other things are the other 20? I don't know how they'd come up with this fleet, this ghost fleet of car insurance anyway. Like, you never know how many will be on the road. Will it be Vinny? Will it be another driver who's a horrible driver? Will it be like, I don't feel like they have all that data on us anyway. They're not spitting it all in on each driver. They're just kind of like blanket covering everybody.
So it says here, last week I paid $214.70 for commercial insurance. That would be average of what I was paying when I had my own business. So that's not bad. But I don't know if it's going to let me look the week before. No, it won't let me go back again. Damn it. I wanted to go back further because I know I've seen some high weeks now. The Uber service fee was $240 last week for me. So there was, and total customer payout was $13.56. You know what's missing though? My tips. Oh, I only made 130 in tips last week. I suck. Yeah, so out of 829, they took $450, but they're telling me I made 61%. I don't know what Uber math that is. Am I adding that wrong? 215 and 240 is what? 455, right?
Yeah.
And my earnings was 829, but they're telling me it's 61.1% went to. Did I miss something there? I love these people, bro.
Well, you don't live in a transparent state.
No, you got that part right. You got that part right. I mean, I'm not making it up. You guys can see it's right there. I don't know what kind of fuzzy math this is. This shit looks like they're quarterly P&Ls, man. What the hell? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, Tom, do you have any take on this? Because I have one more topic for tonight that I think is really actually kind of crazy, but
Go on to your next topic.
okay. So this is relating to Washington State. I think this has gone way too far now. Lawmakers take aim at Uber and Lyft with bill targeting surge pricing after events. Now, I'm all for getting this somewhat under control, but they're saying that after a big sporting event or arena concert, fans flood streets, need rides. To help meet the demand, ride-hailing companies tack on surge fees that could substantially increase fares. The practice is meant to incentivize more drivers to offer rides, but some say that that's not how it's working. So there is not a connection between what a rider is charged and what the driver is paid, said one of the senators up there. And now in Seattle, there's Senate Bill 5600, a measure being considered by Washington state lawmakers that would limit how much Uber and Lyft and other transportation companies split fares with drivers after large events in an attempt to curb surge pricing. And so, here's the example they give, and this is GeekWire. This is from today. The law would restrict fares to 120% of what the driver is earning for a ride. So, for example, if a customer pays a surge of $100, the company's share would be limited to no more than $17, and the driver earnings and with the driver earnings at 83 in that scenario. I mean,
but is it limiting the surge or just how much the company gets out of the surge?
Well, it says the law would restrict fares to 120% of what the driver is earning for a ride.
I don't understand what that means.
I'm lost myself.
Yeah, it's in the same paragraph too, where it right afterwards says, for example, and then it does that. It says if a customer pays $100, a surge $100, company gets 17, driver gets 83.
So they're saying if it's normally a $20 ride, but there's a $100 surge attached, the driver's going to get $83 out of that, and the app can only take 17.
Up to it, no more. Yeah,
no more than 17. Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, this is the same. I mean, Seattle's been throwing around all kinds of.
Yeah, but I don't know how you would be able to make that split. I mean, it'd be a hell of a thing for the driver. It'd be phenomenal for the driver.
Here's the answer to Tom's question, though. So the bill doesn't actually set any upper limit on rider fares. It only limits the relationship between what the rider pays and what the driver gets.
Okay.
So I guess they would still be allowed to surge at will. But I mean, that's going back. That's even better than a multiplier.
Yeah.
So my thought is they'll do the same thing that they're doing here, though, where like I'm getting a reduced price to the airport while Derek here is not getting any more to take me on that ride. You know, so maybe they'll just do that. Maybe they just won't surge ever.
Well, I mean, how about where everybody's from? I know if I remember correct, the young lady in the middle next to Steve, you're from Canada, correct? The other gentleman, I believe he's from Texas. Is that correct?
You betcha.
The young lady down below you, though, I'm not sure who that is, and I can barely see. I don't have my glasses, and you're about this big in my phone.
I'm in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, you're in my place. Okay, I'm down in Fort Lauderdale. All right. For us, Lyft surge is almost non-existent. I mean, damn near non-existent anyway. Richard said that's what he was going to do, right? He said he was going to try to get rid of it. So if Uber went that route, would it be that far-fetched?
Kind of, because I feel like there's a lot of people, at least here in my market, there's a lot of people who would never pay a surge fee. They'd rather go spend the money on a drink across the street at a bar and wait for an hour for it to die and then pay for the ride. And there's some people who absolutely would love to pay it to get home immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like this crowd, I don't care. by removing that, you're going to have everybody in the same pool.
Yeah, that's true. And then how many drivers? Like, I don't even work events anymore. I'm just,
you and I were talking about that. Like, I don't even, if there's an event,
I don't
go
even
to
work
the other side of
events.
town.
The crowd goes left, I go right. That is me all day long, twice on Sundays. But like in some other markets, some of these, like, so my guy Eddie is in Austin, right? And he needs Surge to make his money work. So I'm not saying that he's working events. I know he gave up on F1. He'll never do that again, he says, because it's like, I don't blame him. That's like the 3 out. That's like what's the highway out in California everybody gets jacked up on? The 407, 401, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, he won't do that. I mean, if they don't surge, how many drivers will actually show up at those events to do the work then? And
there's also a thing that has so this is they actually have numbers set to this legislation. So any outdoor event of 10,000 or more, any indoor event of 1,000 or more will qualify for this.
What the huh?
So I guess their point is, like, if if you're going to see the Seahawks play, that's gonna be a lot of people leaving. So yeah, they're gonna be allowed to surge, and you need to do this.
They only want to limit the surge on events of 1,000 people or more. But if it's like
10,000 for outdoor, 1,000 for indoor.
Okay. But then so it's Halloween. Right? And everybody's just going out doing their deal. Or what's the holiday just went back? The Valentine's Day.
Yep.
So they wouldn't have to do that split on a Valentine's Day surge? It's for events only?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nuts.
I mean, I thought they were going to try and straighten out the pay up legislation. I didn't know they were going to be adding a bunch of stuff to it.
Of course, that's why I get so jacked up anytime government puts their nose under the tent for anything. Everybody goes, "Oh, the government's here to save us. Well, we got to be saved from the evil Uber. Oh, they're so horrible to us." And every single time, the only one who ends up with more money is the government. It ain't me. It ain't Uber. It's the government.
That guy.
We're going to come in, we're going to set a minimum price for this, and we're going to say that drivers are going to get that. It never works. It has never worked. You cannot show me one piece of legislation that has gone through, and everybody, the drivers, everybody went, "Oh, thank God the government came here to save me." It doesn't work. I don't want to hear. I mean, I will never ever go, "Oh, that's good. I'm sure glad the government got their nose in this time." And here we go again. Government's going to come save us. They're going to make sure the surge, blah, 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 blah.
Can I buy that guy a cup of coffee?
I'm a free market enterprise guy. It's going to fail or it's going to work. Let it do its thing. We will quit driving if we don't get paid. If we're not happy, we quit. Then they're going to have to adjust the business model, or some other company, Google, somebody will come by and they'll give us a new business model and we'll all go over there. That's how America is built. That's how this stuff works.
Yeah. I think like you were saying earlier, though, I think that we're just in some new space, and again, it's probably even government taking advantage of it, like, oh, sweet, this new space that was totally defined wrong. Let's go in and.
Well, I mean, that senator you quoted a moment ago, he's wrong. He's quoting wrong statistics. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, and now he's going to co-sponsor a bill to fix something that may or may not even be broken, that he thinks has to be fixed by government. This is the difference between big government people and small government people. I want government this big.
Yeah.
I want them to protect me, and I want them to make life fair in the sense of, the very simple stuff in life. I don't want big government.
So the reason for this bill that this Emily Alvarado is trying to pass in Seattle or add to is her whole reasoning is based around the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's already getting a jump on this, saying nope. I mean,
my big stuff starts next week, Steve. On which day is it? March 4th through March the 23rd here in Houston. We've got the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Every single night, there will be 50, 60,000 people leaving the stadium around the same time at NRG Stadium.
Right, exactly.
Thousands of rides every night, and surge money.
Yeah.
By Yahoo, and I don't want anybody to touch it.
No.
And when I'm standing in line waiting for my turn in the queue, I have people running up and slapping $100 bills on my windshield saying, "Take me now, take me now."
Yeah, I mean, if you start screwing with the surge too, who's going to go? Vinny and I already don't go into these events. You already lost us anyway.
Yeah, I won't go if they messed with the surge. Not a chance I'd show up. But I'm going to make a lot of money the next few weeks doing.
Yeah.
And next year, or in 2026, I'm going to make a lot of money because part of FIFA is going to be here in Houston.
Yeah.
And it'll be exactly the same spot that I'm picking up the people from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
It'd be curious to know who got in this senator's ear or whoever's sponsoring this legislation. Somebody got in their ear, because we do World Cup events down here all the time, and we call it Joe Robbie. Those of us from local know it's Joe Robbie Stadium, but it's where the Miami Dolphins play. They do all the soccer. We got Melee or Misse or whatever the hell his name is. We got all that crap down here. Surge is fine down here. Matter of fact, they're limiting the surge what they show us anyway. So they're already banging out the riders, for 2, 3x, and we're getting 1.5x. We already know this. I mean, it's just, it's just common core math if you believe in that mess. So I don't know why somebody would get in their ear to try to create that. It sounds like, I don't even know. Could they legally do that? Could you actually legally do that?
I'm from the government. I'm here to help you.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, Steve.
I guess.
Before we go, can you tell everybody about the story you sent right before this started tonight?
Which one?
With the armed Uber.
Oh yeah. You mean, and it's, by the way, it's not the one that we've been talking about. It's not. Right. Yeah, This is a different company. That literally, from what I can tell, just ripped off that dude's idea. So Black Wolf was the original one. That was the one, the guy from Atlanta who Uber with guns is what it is. Your Uber driver will be armed. Their background checked better, supposedly. And this one was supposedly launched because of the United Healthcare CEO that was killed. But I think that they just see a lot of, but I mean, to me, it's like with that in the headline, they're almost saying like, hey, listen, if you have a high ranking position, you should ride in these cars. Like, that's a little bit different approach than the protection of your family, which is the one Black Wolf took. But what is your take on the story?
I'm doing a screen share.
Okay. Because
all right, I lost my Bluetooth for a minute. Are you guys talking about the armed Uber drivers?
This is my take on the story. Kim with an M16 ready to go down.
That's hysterical.
That's why I was so disappointed she wasn't here tonight.
Oh man,
I was all ready for it. Kim going out there with her pink scissors and ready to mow down the bad guys. So you when you order this, you can get it in 4 flavors. Everybody wears a suit. Everybody's business casual. Everybody's casual, or they're all wearing SWAT gear. You can get 3 cars. You have a minimum of 5 hours that you have to carry them, and a minimum of $1,000 to have your armed escort. So if you want to ride from JFK over to Kim's house, you can do that with for just $1,000 and have multiple security guards in and around and in the car behind you and all that kind of good stuff. And Kim looks great in fatigues, doesn't she?
She does it. Actually, she looks like I know that face that Kim makes too, that
Yeah.
you got there, and she looks like she's checking in, like she just took care of something.
Yeah.
So that's where she is tonight. She's training
That's right.
for this, right?
That's right.
That's where she really is.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
makes
this
sense.
one also is doing $129 annual membership, so you have to have that before you can even touch it.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
But I wonder what happened to Black Wolf, because I feel like this company, I feel like this company's gonna be everywhere quick.
Who are they?
I
Where
just
are they
started
out
seeing about it the other day. It's called Protector.
And where are they based?
Well, they launched in LA.
Okay.
and
Well,
New
you either
York.
have to be really important or have a lot of people that hate you, or both. Just
So it's like a fear tactic. Like,
Right.
oh, you're a CEO, you better ride with. You don't want to just be in an Uber.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Vinny, while we have you here tonight, before I walk us out of here, and you guys don't forget, next week is the 3-year anniversary. I know we keep saying it, but don't forget. What is the average? I know it can go higher. I know it can go lower. What is the average take rate among the people that you know right now in the split of rideshare?
Total split, not broken down, just total split.
Yeah, just if you had to average it.
About 50%.
You think it's 50-50 on the average?
Yeah, I'd say on the average it's about 50-50.
Okay.
Maybe a little more slightly slanted towards them, but it's pretty much. I think it'd be really close to 50-50.
And then Tom, is that about what you see too?
I'm sorry, I missed the original question.
So like if you're driving Uber, when
Mhm.
are you getting, because we were talking about the numbers before, are you getting about 50% of all the rides
Getting about 50. I don't understand.
of the rider pay?
Oh no, more than that.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, between usually around 2/3.
So that's crazy to me. Okay. Well, yeah, next week we're gonna have a lot to talk about. And also a lot of fun too. So you guys don't miss it. I'm just back from traveling here, and I had to go to the dentist today, so I think I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, where did you just fly into or fly back from?
I was just doing some work with the laser company and trying to secure some other things. So, yeah, just trying to put some other pieces in order. And actually, I need to give a quick shout out to Wiz too, Wiz Scooters, because I'm trying to help them do a promotion for launching in Chicago. They launched in DC this week, and then next week in Chicago. And they're teamed up with DoorDash. So if you guys do DoorDash in the Chicago area, there is a way to get in with this Wiz scooter where you can either buy it outright, or they're like they're e-bikes, or they can like finance you and let you do it. So like again, it's not for every city, but like Chicago, that's a tough city to get around. This is another way to maybe do it, and it's really decked out to set up to carry decent amounts of food, everything. So just something to check into. I don't have much more information than that. I do know, because I talked to the CEO for a while, I do know that I had to ask him. I said, dude, you're the same app that was around like pre-pandemic, same spelling, WHIZZ. I said, that used to be an app in like 2018, 19, where you could open it and it would show you public bathrooms for gig workers. Like where you could, and then it would show gas prices too. So the original idea was to show you gas prices, build in some discounts, and where you can go to the bathroom without getting in trouble. Now
That's a hell of a name.
That's funny.
Now they own it, and it's about these e-bikes that can get you places quick. And I'm like, do you know that? And he said that he was aware of it, but he said he didn't know exactly what it was. So I told him, and he goes, wait, seriously? Because they bought this from that company. So I guess my point is, in case you think Wiz is a pissing app, it's not.
No longer.
It's a scooter delivery or an e-bike delivery.
Oh shit.
I guess my
Jesus,
point
okay.
is do your background checking before you buy a company's name.
Otherwise, you might get pissed off.
Better pissed off than pissed on.
That's right. That's what I always.
All
right.
But
That's
thank you
funny.
everybody for joining us this week. It was short and to the point, I know. Thank you, Vinny, for jumping on. Thank you, Holly. We haven't seen Holly in a while. You guys all get to see Holly. And then you see Tom, Cheyenne, and I every week. But we'll all be here next week. Anybody that wants to come can come. Hannibal's going to be here. John Dash is going to be here. Gary's threatening that he might be here, might not. But I'm threatening him back. I'm going to come up with something good. He'll be here.
Can I come on and pop out of a cake?
Yeah, sure. If that's what you're really going to do.
Hey,
Tell
stop it.
Gary if he doesn't show up, I'm gonna make a meme for him too.
Yeah, the Kim meme was great. Let's put it up one more time.
Okay.
I missed this.
As we head out here.
This is for this
There's
is
just-
Tom's creation for advertising for the security rides.
You got to put it up.
Yeah. Here it is.
It's her smirk that I like so much.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got him. You know, we're good here.
All right.
Anyway, you guys, thank you for joining us. Do come back to the anniversary next week. We will be organized probably. We'll see. But I think we will be. And it's definitely going to be some fun. We're going to have some old faces and well, not old, but faces you haven't seen in a while. So,
Speak for yourself. I resemble that remark.
I'll shave.
you guys all have an awesome week. We will see you back here next week. And then also I got some things on this week's coming podcast on Tuesday that you won't want to miss. I'm going to be going off a little bit. So
Yes.
Just so everybody knows, it's become something that on the audio podcast I've been doing a little more and more often, and I'm going to be going off a little bit. So Tuesday. Anyway, guys, thank you everybody for joining, and we will see you back
Thanks
here
for
next
having
week.
me.
Appreciate you.
Good night.